speaking of that, and I don't want to depart from the subject at hand, but I still think that we've reached a new low in American political dialogue when there's a advertisement in the New York Times that says General Petraeus or General Betraeus. That's an assault on the honor and integrity of a man who served 35 years in the United States Army, and I hope you'll condemn it every place you go. There's no chance. Now I just want to...
You do not condemn freedom of speech. I'm sorry.
We have a question and answer and comment and an occasional insult period right after I finish it. I'll talk about Iraq. I respect your views, and I'm ready to engage in a dialogue with you about it as soon as I finish this long-winded diatribe. My friends, as I said, Iraq was frustrated and saddened all of us. It was badly mismanaged for nearly 4 years by Rumsfeld. I'm the only person that's running for the nomination of my party that criticized and predicted the failures that were going to take place unless we changed that strategy as early as November of 2004. I gave a major speech to the Council on Foreign Relations, pointing out the failures and advocating the strategy we're using today. I was strongly criticized by Republicans for being disloyal. But I knew what was wrong because I know the military and I know war. And so now we are in a situation where after nearly 4 years of failure, we have a strategy that is succeeding. It is succeeding. It is succeeding, sir. And the best way I know of to support the troops is to support the mission they're on. And if you don't support the mission you're on, then most of those troops who are telling me, let us win, don't believe that they are really supported. Just I'll tell you the message I'm getting from them. 3 words. Let us win. If you look at Anbar, if you look at Baghdad, if you look at other parts of Iraq today, then obviously you will see dramatic improvement. You may have seen on the front page of the New York Times a couple of days ago, the Shia are now doing the same thing that the Sunni did in Anbar province. They're colluding with us because they're sick and tired of the murdering thugs that have taken over their neighborhoods and their cities and towns. And do we have a long way to go? Yes. And is the Maliki government bitterly disappointing to me because they're not acting effectively? Absolutely. There's still corruption in the national police. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm not going to go through all of the region with you, although I'd be glad to, but I can summarize the problems with a date for surrender, which is what the Democrats wanted to do after, as Harry Reid, the majority leader of the Senate last April, said the war is lost. If it is lost, who won? Al-Qaeda? I don't think the American people are ready to assume that the war is lost. So, to summarize to you, the president of Iran, the same guy we were talking about, who was at Columbia University, who has dedicated the extension of the State of Israel, said, and I quote, the United States will leave Iraq and there will be a void, and we, the Iranians, will fill the void. Now, I don't have to describe it any more clearly than that to you. It's what's at stake here and what would happen if we set a date for surrender from Iraq. Now, may I say that I think that this debate is legitimate. I respect the views of those who disagree with my proposition that we are succeeding and must win, and I think we need a respectful dialogue. I deplore the level of discourse. To accuse a general who is over there of betraying this country is, of course, unacceptable. I intend to treat, and I have, on the floor of the Senate, in days and weeks of debate, treat the opponents of this conflict with respect. I also think you know that many political pundits have said McCain's support has harmed his chances to be President of the United States. And it may have. I don't dispute that. I hope not, because they're honestly held views. But it may be the case. My friends, every once in a while something happens that puts this whole issue into the right perspective and balance which it deserves. About 5 weeks ago in Wolfboro, New Hampshire, we were having a town hall meeting. A woman stood up, and I recognized her, and she said, Senator McCain, will you do me the favor of wearing a bracelet with my son's name on it, Matthew Stanley? I said, I would be glad to. She So my son Matthew was killed outside of Baghdad just before Christmas last year. He was 19 years old. And I said I would be honored to wear a bracelet with his name on it. And later on she said to me, Senator McCain, I want you to make me one promise, and that is that you'll do everything in your power to make sure that my son's death was not in vain. Well, I think you understand very clearly as I do. It puts everybody's priorities and ambitions in the right perspective. And my friends, I want to say the great thing about this war, and I mean this sincerely to you, sir, the great thing about this war as opposed to the war in which I fought, whether we support the war or whether we oppose the war, American people are solid and united in one thing, and that is that we support the men and women who are fighting. And thank God for that. Thank you very much.